All right, let's talk about a pretty bold claim. Winning any argument is, well, easy. I know, you're probably skeptical. And that's good, because the secret to doing it is the exact opposite of everything you've probably ever been taught.
So, think about it. What's the best way to win an argument? Is it having more facts than the other person? Is it using this perfect, flawless logic that just dismantles everything they say? Or maybe it's just being the loudest person in the room. We've all got our go-to strategies, right? But what if I told you they're all kind of wrong?
The best way to actually win an argument is by losing. Yep, you heard me right. It sounds completely backward, I get it, but this is the big idea we're going to unpack today. See, to get what you really want, you first have to be willing to lose the point.
And this brings us to a huge paradox. The single hardest, most draining, most soul-crushing way to try and win an argument is by relying on logic and facts. Why? Well, because most arguments aren't about logic. Not really. They're about emotion, they're about ego, they're about relationships. And the second our egos get involved, our brains just shut down the listening department and go into full-on defense mode. Trying to fight that emotional fire with a spreadsheet of facts, it's like bringing a calculator to a sword fight. You're gonna lose.
This all leads us directly into what I call the being right trap. And it is a trap. It's this mindset we all fall into where the immediate goal of just proving we're right completely blinds us to what's actually important.
And this is where you start to see the hidden costs. When your only goal is to be right, you're laser focused on your facts, your logic, your brilliant points. But man, look at the price you pay for that. You might win the argument, but you've just put a crack in a relationship. You've wasted so much energy, you're completely drained. All for what? One little check mark in the win column. And here's the worst part. You've completely lost sight of the actual prize you could have walked away with.
So, if being right is a trap, what's the alternative? Well, that brings us to what we'll call the art of losing. And they call it an art for a reason, because it takes skill, it takes strategy. It's not about being a doormat and just letting people walk all over you. No. It's about being a strategist.
So let's give this thing a name. We'll call it strategic concession. It's all about prioritizing what you actually want to happen, your desired outcome, over this fleeting need to be factually right. The key thing here is you're not just giving up, you're making a calculated trade. You're letting go of a small, pretty meaningless victory right now for a much, much bigger and more important win later on.
The mantra you got to remember is so simple: win by losing. It's about completely redefining what winning even means. It's not about who scores the most points in a debate, it's about who actually gets what they wanted in the first place.
Okay, I know this all might sound a little abstract, so let's bring it down to earth. Let's walk through a super simple, real-world example we're gonna call the last cookie scenario.
Okay, so picture this. Your roommate comes to you and they are convinced you ate the last cookie. Now, you know for a fact you did not. The wrong way to handle this, the being right trap, is to go into full-on detective mode, right? You're pulling out receipts, showing your phone's GPS data. See, I wasn't even home. You're swearing on your life you're innocent. And what's the result? A super tense, awkward apartment for the rest of the night. But what about the strategic way? You just concede. You say, you know what? I was kind of distracted earlier. Maybe I did grab it without thinking. I'm so sorry. I'll grab some more on my way home tomorrow. And what happens? Boom. Argument's over. The tension is just gone.
And that's the whole key. It was never, ever about the cookie. The cookie was just a symbol for something else. Maybe your roommate was stressed. Maybe they felt ignored. By conceding on the cookie, you won the real prize: a peaceful home, a happy roommate. You literally traded a cookie you didn't even eat for something way more valuable.
So this entire way of thinking, it all boils down to one simple, powerful question that you have to ask yourself before you even open your mouth. What do you really want?
This right here, this is the whole mindset shift. The goal is not to be right. The goal is to get the outcome you want. It means you have to stop focusing on the past, on who was right and who was wrong, and you have to start focusing on the future. What do I want to happen next? Do you want to sign the client? Do you want to have a nice family dinner? Do you want your team to feel motivated? Because obsessing over who's right is almost always the thing that gets in the way of achieving those goals.
So I'm gonna leave you with this to think about. The next time you feel that pull, that little voice in your head telling you to dig in, to prove your point, to be right no matter what, just take a breath. Ask yourself, okay, what's the cookie here and what's the peaceful home? In your next argument, what will you choose to really win?